At 16, my parents blamed me for my brother's arrest, called me a bad influence, and exiled me to relatives 6 hours away without a phone. 13 years later, they walked into my law office, begging me to defend him. They had no idea I was the attorney they tried to bury. When I was 16, my brother Jackson got caught breaking into our high school with his delinquent friends, spray paint still in his hand when police found him. My parents sat me down the next morning and said it was my fault. I'd created a negative environment by criticizing his friends. I'd been a bad role model by working too much. My complaints had pushed him to act out. The mental gymnastics were Olympic level impressive. Jackson sat there silent, didn't defend me once. Their solution: send me to live with my aunt in Pennsylvania. No phone, no contact with friends, no social media, no explanation to anyone back home. Jackson got house arrest and sympathy. I got exile. The 6-hour drive to Aunt Julie's house, my dad didn't say a word. When we arrived, he handed her my school records and told me to think about what you've done. I was 16 years old, punished for something I'd actively tried to prevent. The first weeks were brutal. No phone meant complete isolation. I couldn't call friends, couldn't explain why I'd disappeared. My aunt monitored my internet. My parents didn't want me spreading my version of events. In 2012, not having social media made you an alien. But here's the thing about being that isolated. It gives you time to think, a lot of time. And I got angry. Not the explosive kind, but the cold, calculated kind that makes you focused. I threw myself into school with obsessive intensity. Honor roll every semester. Debate team. Library volunteer. If they wanted to throw me away, fine. I'd succeed in spite of them. My aunt would call my parents weekly. He's doing well. Honor roll again. No, he hasn't asked about coming home. I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to return to a house where I was blamed for everything and appreciated for nothing. I applied to colleges without telling them. Got accepted with partial scholarship. When my mom finally called after nearly 2 years, she said, "We're so proud." I almost laughed. I went to college, then law school, worked 2 jobs the entire time, graduated top 10% of my class, passed the bar on my first try. I built a career defending juveniles accused of crimes. Kids who'd made mistakes but deserved someone in their corner. The irony wasn't lost on me. 13 years after they sent me away, I was in my office when my secretary said I had a walk-in consultation. Janet and David Stevens. My parents' names. But Stevens is common, so I didn't think anything of it. Then my office door opened. My mother gasped. My dad's mouth fell open. They'd been searching for a defense attorney for weeks. Someone recommended our firm. They made the appointment, never suspecting their throwaway son was now the lawyer they desperately needed. "Mr. and Mrs. Stevens," I said calmly. "Please have a seat." They stumbled into chairs like they'd forgotten how legs worked. "It's Jackson," my dad finally said. "He's been arrested. Embezzlement. $45,000 over 2 years. They have evidence. Bank records. Forged invoices. We need someone who'll actually fight for him." I took notes. "Professional. Detached. I specialize in juvenile defense. Your son is 29. That's outside my area of practice. However, I can refer you to excellent attorneys who handle white-collar crimes." My mother's voice cracked. "Daniel, we're so sorry. We had no idea you'd become an attorney. We're so proud." 13 years of silence. And now, when they needed something, suddenly they were proud. "With all due respect, Mrs. Stevens," I said, "you've had 13 years to be proud. You had 13 years to apologize. You chose not to." "We made mistakes," she whispered. "But he's still your brother." I slid the referral list across my desk. "These attorneys will serve him well. I genuinely hope Jackson gets a good outcome. But I'm not that attorney, and I'm not going to pretend we're family after 13 years of treating me like I didn't exist." My dad looked desperate. "We thought you needed space." "No," I said firmly. "You blamed me for Jackson's mistakes because it was easier than holding your golden child accountable. And now that he's in trouble again, you show up asking for help." As they reached the door, my mom turned back. "For what it's worth, we really are proud of you. I accomplished it without you," I replied. "That's the part you need to understand." They left without another word. I'm not the kid they threw away. I'm the man they'll never get to know.
I leaked fake baby names to family just to see if they would do what I thought they would. My husband Elliot and I had kept the pregnancy quiet for the first trimester, but once we hit that safe zone, we told our families. Big mistake. Within 24 hours, my mother-in-law Diane was texting daily baby name suggestions. All terrible. Gertrude, Mildred, Cornelius. Names that hadn't been used since the Civil War. The real problem started when we casually mentioned at Sunday dinner that we were considering the name Wren for a girl. Just tossing it out there, not committed to anything. 2 days later, Diane posted on Facebook about how excited she was that her future granddaughter would be named after her great-aunt Wren. We hadn't even confirmed the gender yet. That's when I got the idea. If they were going to steal our names, I'd give them something to work with. I told my mom we were strongly leaning towards Celestia. Told Diane we loved Magnus. Told my sister Bree we were probably going with Phoenix. Each person got a different fake name, all equally ridiculous. Then I sat back and watched. Within a week, my mother had commissioned a custom blanket embroidered with Celestia in looping script. $240. Diane bought a wooden name plaque that said Magnus in hand-carved letters. My sister started an Instagram account called Auntie to Phoenix and posted 47 times before we'd even finished the second trimester. At a family barbecue, someone asked what we were naming the baby. My mother jumped in. "Oh, they're doing Celestia, such an elegant choice." Diane immediately cut her off. "Actually, it's Magnus. They told me themselves." My sister looked up from her phone. "Wait, I thought it was Phoenix." The three of them started arguing, each insisting they had the real name. Voices raised. My uncle had to step between them when Diane grabbed my mother's arm. Elliot and I just stood there eating potato salad. "Should we say something?" he whispered. "Absolutely not," I replied. The final explosion came at the baby shower. By then, the name drama had split the entire family into 3 camps. My mother's side wore Team Celestia shirts. Diane brought Magnus decorations. My sister had Phoenix balloons. When it came time to open gifts, the chaos was everywhere. 3 different name books, each with a different name highlighted. Clothes monogrammed with C, M, and P. Even the cake had all 3 names written in frosting. That's when I stood up. 8 months pregnant and done with their nonsense. The baby's name is Ivy. It always was. Everything else was a test. Dead silence. "A test?" my mother finally said. "Yes, to see if you'd respect our privacy or immediately broadcast whatever we told you." You all failed. Diane's face turned crimson. This is cruel. No, I said calmly. Excited would have been waiting for us to announce. What you did was hijack our decision. I gestured around us. Look at the shower. It's not about the baby. It's about you all competing to control something that isn't yours. My sister started crying. Diane gathered her decorations and left. Half the guests followed. The other half stayed, mostly out of shock. That night, my phone blew up with angry texts. How dare we humiliate them? After everything they'd done, the money they'd spent, but they'd spent that money before asking, made those posts before checking, fought with each other before confirming, all because they couldn't wait, couldn't respect boundaries. 3 months later, Ivy was born, perfect and healthy. We posted one photo with just her name. My mother eventually came around, though she still mentions the Celestia blanket. Diane sends gifts but keeps her distance. My sister deleted the Instagram account. Family gatherings are quieter now, more careful. But when people ask about Ivy's name, I smile and say we picked it because it means faithfulness, and because it was the one name nobody tried to steal.